There are some things in life that you just have to like accept, and some people just want to see the world burn. That's just one of the things that this game has honestly just learned to teach me. Just teach me the fact that some people really do just want to see the world burn with this broken ass fucking character. Honestly, I have no clue why on earth I should even make a guide with this character, because this character in her current state is so broken, you honestly don't need a brain to play her. But apparently she's a little bit hard, as I'm finding out from my ranked teammates. So of course I'm going to have to make a guide now, showing you guys how to play who in my opinion is best girl. For those of you somehow unaware, Eika is a duelist character. A duelist character that has a shotgun with a fucking switch. A literal AA-12 to switch. I don't even know what to say about that. For the rest of her kit, I honestly recommend you actually run the Glock for her secondary. This is actually one of the few characters that I recommend you run the Glock for her secondary, because the Glock is generally terrible for most characters, so it's honestly why the fuck are you using the Glock? You can be using a rifle. This character doesn't really have a rifle, she has a shotgun, so yeah, if you want to have any chance at fighting people from a distance, yeah, you're gonna need the Glock. And then the grenades, just run a frag grenade and windstorm grenade. The windstorm grenade can kind of act like an ultimate when you don't have ultimate, because at the end of the day, the best part about your ultimate is that you're forcing them to glide. And then for the frag grenade is just really good for dealing damage and forcing people out of areas. Once again, that's this character's job, despite the fact that she's a duelist. Character deadass makes me feel like a fucking crash out, despite the fact that this character is literally just a crowd control character. This character has a lot of crowd controlling abilities in the sense that they don't really stun, but they heavily discourage movement through certain areas. So without further ado, let's just get straight into her kit. Her ability, her Q ability, very simple stuff. She makes a fire spear. This little spear of fire, if anybody is caught in it, automatically lights them up, does like 2 damage per second, and if they leave it, it does 40 damage. Or if your burn meter is already full, which you can fill up very easily by doing damage, it does 80 damage instead. While you can use your skill to initiate fights, I would actually highly suggest you try to use it more or less for creating space. Because if you can create space for your other teammates, generally speaking, as long as you're not in fucking silver, your teammates can generally do something with that space that you have created. Secondly, let's talk about her ultimate. Her ultimate is actually kind of the meat and potatoes of this damn kit, because it's kind of like a win button. You press it and you should automatically be winning no matter what the situation is. Generally how you use it though is you press the ultimate button, then you like fire a fireball at the opponent's feet. If you fire it generally around there, you'll get a tornado effect. It'll hit them, they'll be sent up in the air. Very simple stuff. Also, another thing to note is that if your fire meter is full, once again, you get blue fire. This just does more damage and also makes the tornado bigger. Generally speaking, once again, that passive is not very important. Not something that you should go too much for, just generally because you just won't really have it at full charge almost ever while using a skill and or ultimate. Just something to keep in mind for, game making decisions, since at the end of the day, this character, while being overpowered, still does need some gameplay decisions to be made. Which actually leads me straight into talking about her passive. Her passive, basically anytime she does damage, she gets to acquire a little bit of burn, and once this burn is full, which is displayed by a meter that should be at the bottom of your screen, next time you use your skill or your ultimate, the fire turns out blue, and basically it just enhances your skill and or ultimate, whichever one you used, and it consumes it all at once. Generally speaking, this passive isn't actually all that useful, because unfortunately, if you're doing damage, there's a very high chance you've already used your skill and or ultimate, but it is nice to have for when it does come up. Alright, cool. And now let me run you through kit upgrades really fast, because kit upgrades are going to be really easy. Firstly, you want spread control. Spread control is really good just in general at all times, because you're using a shotgun and your shotgun is not going to have very much range without spread control. It's just going to feel bad fighting people, especially when you're like crosshairs like right on them and none of your pellets seem to be hitting them. The next thing you'll want to buy is of course going to be armor. Armor's just really good in this game. Like honestly, whenever you're playing a character, first get one attachment upgrade and then always get armor. Or even if like you lost a round, just sell the damn attachment and get the damn armor, because the armor is honestly just that much better, especially for a character like Eika, who needs to be up in people's faces because she has a fucking shotgun. And then the rest of your upgrade route will just kind of depend on what you want in terms of which awakening you want to awaken first. I'll tell you about the pros and cons about these two awakenings. The first awakening just makes it to where you do stringify damage. Very cool stuff. Just hurry up and get it as soon as possible. The second awakening, it just adds damage overall, though it also does take away her ability to control areas a little bit. That's definitely a downside to this one, but overall I feel like the damage increase can sometimes make it worth it. And then Awakening 3 also allows you to heal, helps her self-sustain a little bit more without taking away from her ability to deal damage and control areas. But the downside for this awakening is that remember how I talked to you about her passive and how her passive can be nice every once in a while? Yeah, with Awakening 3, you're just not going to see any value from that extra damage at all. Instead, it's just going to come out as extra healing, which, depending on who you are, can be nice. Ultimately, I can't tell you which one's better because they both have their own pros and cons, which ultimately can make them pretty situational. And ultimately, I think that wraps it up for this guide. This character is a very, very powerful character if you put her in the right hands. Unfortunately though, I would have to say that she's not exactly new player friendly, and I guess I can kind of see how people can mess her up, because I guess you can just kind of somehow forget that she has a shotgun and not a fucking rifle, and therefore you shouldn't be trying to shoot people from rifle range, you should be trying to get up closer. I also can understand that that can sometimes be difficult, especially on longer lane maps. I can't exactly think of any right now, but wait, actually I just thought of Area 88. That map is so AIDS in terms of open space and definitely really sucks for Eika, but if you've been paying attention to the background video that's been going on in the background, I kind of played her on Area 88 because she's, while not exactly as strong on that map, she's definitely way more than the word playable. She is, in my opinion, an S tier character as of right now, assuming they don't nerf her into the ground again, because I do really think we should try to change her a little bit. But with that being said, if this guide was helpful, just leave a like, subscribe, and that being said, peace out.